Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, we're going to react to something that would give Trump martyr status. So I think this is related to the ongoing investigation. The DA, the district attorney, I think it was Manhattan, who last year, I think it was like something like 34 or 35 charges of, falsifying business records, inflating stuff like that. This is a thing, when I think back to the US under Trump, like economically, the US was doing really, really well. The stock market was booming. I know we had, I think we had COVID, didn't we? I think in the final year, but economic output was booming under Trump. The stock market was just absolutely racing. It was so high. So from a purely financial background, Trump, if he was to win, would probably be good. But I don't know. Like this investigation, the one that's been put forward by the DA, is it legitimate? Like I've not really done much research into it. I do want to do more research into it. I think it was something about him inflating the value of the Mar-a-Lago golf course, I think, something like that, to obtain loans. But yeah, no, this should be interesting just to hear what exactly would give Trump. I'm guessing it's probably going to be if he's not allowed to run. If this ongoing case, I guess, if they find him guilty of it. But I think they've really found him guilty, haven't they? They said that he needed to pay like 500 million or something like that. There's a lot that I need to clue myself up on.
Tuesday, everyone! Oh, delicious. All right. So, during a meeting with Iraq's prime minister, President Biden's crib sheet was caught on camera, which included directions to pause.
Wow.
Here's another one that simply said, if lost, go to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And then here's another one. And another. He works for Iraq, not 7-Eleven. And also spotted was this other card that said, don't fart, it could be poop.
Damn. Okay. So it's clear that this guy does not like Biden. Okay.
Anyway, the U.S. Olympic uniform for track athletes apparently has sparked concern over being too revealing. Female athletes have complained that the outfits are so sheer you can see their penises.
Oh, God.
Traffic citations in San Francisco have nearly plummeted. They credit their revolutionary new speed bumps. Senator Elizabeth Warren criticized TurboTax for overcharging taxpayers for simple tax returns. She recommended citizens pay taxes the way she does, with $24 worth of beads and trinkets. On this day in 1922, Mark's woman Annie Oakley set a woman's record by shooting 100 clay targets in a row. Coincidentally, also on this day, Annie's husband stopped with a sassy back talk. Sassy back talk. All right. A new survey finds that the most stressful time of the day is 8:15 a.m. You'd be stressed, too, if you got woken up by this.
I'm guessing this is the competition, right?
O.J. Simpson is still dead, but his body is set to be cremated, although he denied it in his new book, If I Cremated Myself.
The whole OJ thing, I mean, a lot of people found him, thought he did it, but a court of law found him innocent. So, like, why? I'm genuinely asking, why did he get so much hate? Because, people seem so sure that he did it, but a court of law with legal professionals and a judge found him innocent. Just a question.
The white Ford Bronco used in his infamous chase may soon be up for sale. The seller says it's rarely been driven except for weekends and after killing people. The first Golden Bachelor and his wife have announced they're divorcing after just 3 months of marriage. They claim they just want different things. She likes the Metamucil berry-flavored fiber supplement. He prefers the Miralax laxative powder for gentle constipation relief. According to new research, South African women have the largest butts in the world with an average hip size of 41.73 inches.
Wow. Hello.
Needless to say, the research was conducted by an expert. All right, to the monologue. So according to legal expert Jonathan...
The writer he had a lot of fun writing those jokes, man. Some of them were like...
Trump's on trial for allegedly falsifying business records related to payments to porn star Stormy Daniels. Turley added that it's a misdemeanor and the statute of limitations ran out. Somehow, none of that matters in New York City, where guys who randomly punch kids are given a pat on the back and a key to the city. But when it comes to porn star payments, you'd better keep records more detailed than a CVS receipt. But first up...
CVS receipts are ridiculously long. My God.
What's up with hush money? You're not supposed to talk about sleeping with a porn star? If that were me, I wouldn't shut up about it. My friends would be like, yes, we know, Greg. Then Stormy tied you down and spanked you unconscious with a pickleball racket. How many times are you going to tell us? Me sleeping with adult film stars, I wouldn't be able to keep it a secret. And neither would they. But they should. They should shut up. That's the deal when you charge for sex. You break that time-honored pledge and you soil what is otherwise a noble profession that gave us Mata Hari, Heidi Fleiss, and Eleanor Roosevelt. I might be wrong on that one. Anywho, Trump's not happy.
As you know, my son is graduating from high school, and it looks like the judge will not let me go through the graduation of my son, who's worked very, very hard.
They're not letting him go to the graduation because of the case. That seems a bit bizarre. Like, what's the worst thing? What's he going to do at the graduation?
Great student. He's very proud of the fact that he did so well, and was looking forward for years to have graduation with his mother and father there. And it looks like the judge isn't going to allow me to escape this scam. It's a scam trial.
I haven't seen him this ticked off since I rejected his offer to be the spokesman for Trump Steaks. What can I say? I'm a dedicated vegan. Closest I come nowadays to putting meat in my mouth is when I do downward facing dog in my nude yoga class.
Oh, God, what an image.
Of course, in their zeal to destroy Trump, Dems are doing him a favor again. For one thing, high school graduations are boring. You sit there for hours in a hot, sweaty auditorium and listen to a bunch of names of strangers' kids just to see 20 seconds when the only important one is getting his diploma. If you're lucky, the kid in the wheelchair might pop a wheelie. What's wrong? And it's not like it's hard to get a high school degree. Everyone has one except Greta Thunberg. It's a high school diploma, for Christ's sake. It's like an Adderall prescription. At that age, everyone gets one. Plus, it's just stressful being around all those seniors. How many times can I repeat, call me when you're 18?
Oh, my God. Wow. That was probably the most edgy one.
But maybe I'm just resentful, because nobody cared when I graduated from cosmetology school. I was class valedictorian and received the Vidal Sassoon Award for Outstanding Achievement in Hair Treatment. I came up with the first pubic hair straightener for inmates. It was called Haired Straight. But if Trump wants to go to his son's graduation, he should. Graduations are like losing your virginity. It only happens a few times. And trying to stop him is the biggest favor the Dems can do for him. They'll give him martyr status. He's already like Jesus in that he's the only one who could raise Joe Biden from the dead. Just imagine if Trump blows off a day of this dumb trial to watch his son graduate and the cops show up and arrest him. You want bad optics? It'll look worse than the time Jesse wore leggings to sexual harassment training.
To be honest, I do think it would be such a, like, it would increase the energy of Trump supporters. Like, it would, like, and people that are still on the fence about who they want to vote for, that could push them in Trump's direction for sure, because it would definitely make it seem like they're just out to get Trump, you know. Like, you can't make one exception, the kid's graduation day. You can't do that one, like, that one courtesy.
The libs in every newsroom will cheer. Jon Stewart will joke about it on The Daily Show, or TDS, as I like to call it. How did he swing that gig anyway? Like Chris Christie's personal trainer, this guy only works one day a week. And those clucking hens on The View will high-five each other so hard, Joy will break both her wrists and have to eat her hay and oats bent over a trough. But the rest of America, the actual voters, they all got to go to their children's graduations, or hope to one day. They'll see the injustice and they will go nuts. So if you're watching President Trump, just go to the graduation. You know, I bet some Brit will steal that line.
If you're watching President Trump, just go to the graduation. Every parent in America, whether they like you or hate you, will go, yeah, I'd have done that too. Because this case is utterly ridiculous. Why would you not think that what you're doing here is going to almost guarantee Donald Trump wins the next election? The only thing that could absolutely guarantee it is if he's found guilty and put in a prison cell. Because at that moment, Trump wins by a landslide.
Yeah, for once, a Brit is right about something. Well,
I do think it's just, I have to agree with Piers there. I'm not sure if it would be a landslide, but based on what I see and hear, you know, it does seem like, I don't know if Biden's going to win this, like, because it was so close last time, and with all that's happened, but I need to look at more data.
When you're competing with Prince Harry, the Teletubbies, and Mr. Bean. But once again, Turley said it best.
Everything about this case is, in my view, legally absurd. You know, this case is basically a state misdemeanor that had run out on the statute of limitations. They took a dead misdemeanor and bootstrapped it into effectively trying a federal crime. But the federal crime here under election law was rejected by the Department of Justice. They didn't feel that this should be charged.
He's got great eyebrows. Anyway, he's right. It's lawfare. They can't beat Trump politically because so far he's defied all the laws of politics. So they've decided to defy all the laws. Alvin Bragg is like OJ, except slower, fatter, and more alive. They're twisting the law like a balloon animal with scoliosis to prevent a second Trump term, and they could very well end up bringing it about. On the first day, over half the jurors were nixed after saying they couldn't be impartial. No, the city is bluer than a Smurf's balls after sitting on an ice block. So it's not within the court that matters where the evidence is key. It's what's outside the courtroom where the pressure to crush Trump matters more. Bottom line, the Dems hate Trump so much that they're willing to destroy the legal system. And now they're on the verge of cementing their own worst nightmare, another Trump term. And this time he'll be older, wiser, and hopefully less horny. Let's welcome tonight's guest. Her swear jar is an aquarium. Co-host of Outnumbered Emily Campagno.
Like, I think, you know, whether you're on the left or the right, do you think it's right to withhold somebody attending their son's graduation? You know, especially if they're not a flight risk. What do you guys think? I think let him go to the graduation. And if you don't let him go, I do think it's right that you embolden the Trump support base even more, and you attract more people to that base.
He draws big crowds and sometimes paints them. Writer and comedian Joe DeVito. She's like Gene Simmons. She wears tons of makeup and can't sing. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor Kat Tiff. And his doctor uses a surfboard as a tongue depressor. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former Emily, as a lawyer, I have to ask you this question. That was confusing. You're the lawyer. They could have easily changed the venue and not have this problem with the jury, but they chose not to, and the jury is proving the point that this is a contaminated site. How can this go on?
Well, and the judge doubled down by saying this is the most thorough questionnaire he's ever seen. And so have no fear, he said at the end, we will, in fact, impanel an impartial jury. But to your point, it's being proven along the way that there's no amount of people here that can be impartial. I argue, because I live here too, not because they're anti-Trump, but because they see the legal absurdity, the absolute that this is. Any normal person can see this is an absolute travesty. And to add on a postscript to Jonathan Turley's point earlier, not only is the federal crime, the statute of limitations has run, but what jurisdiction does a Manhattan DA have?
Yeah, if the statute of limitations has already run, then it's the fact that the case is being heard at all is a bit of a farce. I do think we're in danger of setting precedents here, because if we start like investigating cases where the time limit is already expired, who's to say, okay, let's just open that case, let's open this case, let's open that case. The rules should apply to everything. Well, they don't mean anything at all, do they?
A federal law anyway.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I have to say this too about the high school graduation. He is punishing Barron because the person, parents, of course, they want to see their kid graduate. Of course, that is so important. But it is most important to the student to see your family there in the audience. I've been at a million schedulings, a million hearings, and every judge always, oh, you got a dentist appointment? Okay, tell me, you operate based on that, in part to cover your ass at the appellate level. So the fact that he's doubling down and treating him as already convicted, already incarcerated, where you do say, no, I'm sorry, it's your mother's funeral, but nope, I'm not going to grant you leave. He's doing that now. All of this is setting up, if a conviction happened, heaven forbid, it will absolutely be overturned on appeal, no question.
Joe, you know, it's interesting. Bill Clinton not only went to Chelsea's graduation during his whole mess, he spoke at the ceremony and then afterwards banged 3 teachers. This is...
I mean, if it's actually true that Clinton was allowed to go to his daughter's graduation under similar circumstances, i.e. a court case, then we have to be equal. You know, we do. Like, if that's what happened here. Was the Clinton case similar in terms of, you know, the alleged offenses?
Democracy at its fineness.
Yeah, but it is also multitasking at its finest.
Yes.
As a lawyer myself,
Yes.
I think Trump's given us the best way to get out of any social obligation, is to just say, I would love to go to that christening, but unfortunately, I've got this trial with a porn star who's extorting me. She keeps telling everybody we had sex with each other. I think all this does is make Trump look like a good dad. You know, you compare him to, you know, the last Hunter Biden had to go to court to admit he was someone's father. But here's Trump saying, I want to go to my kid's graduation. And you don't mess with Barron Trump. I don't know if you've seen him lately.
He's a big boy.
He is the Trumpiest child of all time.
Yes.
Because, you know, Trump says everything is huge, tremendous. His kid's 11 feet tall.
Yeah.
So I can't wait until the election of 2044, because at current growth rate, Barron's going to be about 30 feet tall.
Yes.
So I want to see him against Hunter Biden. That's the Trump-Biden show.
I want my brain soaking in a vat of biochemicals, so I'll be here when Barron Trump is president.
Yeah, for me, you know, as someone who's worked in the legal industry, I just think it makes life so much harder when laws are not applied universally. It makes things so much harder. And the law, you know, one of the key purposes of the law is to set precedents so that whenever something similar happens in the future, we know how to deal with that situation. You know, if it's true, like it was such an important point, you know, if Bill Clinton was allowed while under investigation, you know, whether criminal or civil or whatever, if Clinton was allowed to go to his daughter Chelsea's graduation, you know, and the alleged crime was of a similar level, Trump should be allowed to go. It's really that simple. You know, you have to apply the law universally. Otherwise, the law means nothing. And then you just open up a whole can of worms because, you know, if the statute of limitations is ignored, that means that any crime that has been committed, that the statute of limitations has passed, you can now open that case again. And there's probably tens of millions of such cases. You're just making a mess of things. I think, yeah, you need to apply the law evenly, fairly, and consistently. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.